We never left.
Oh. Well, that is certainly true. And in the bottom left, having left the Americas, and again, playing from Korea for the Rebellion, Scarlett.
And in the top right side, we are looking at the main base of the man who's playing these games from Nashville, Tennessee. This is PattyMac.
Man, Roddy, you know what I would love?
Tell me.
You know, we don't have intro music right now. We'll get that eventually, I hope. I would love to have, like, region-specific player intro music. So, like, PattyMac, we enter in, we get some, like, sort of, like, country riffs coming in, you know. Yet, I just want it because Nashville and, you know, city music. I don't know what I would do for anyone else, but PattyMac, we got that one figured out.
I won't know what I would pick from the Netherlands, to be completely honest. Actually, some Andre Hazes. I would go with Andre Hazes. I know that doesn't ring any bells to you, but he's a legend in the Dutch scene, especially for people my age and all the generations as well. Maybe the current generation, not so much, but I would go with some good old Andre.
Well, I guess I know what I'm listening to when I get some work done tonight. What, Andre Hazes?
Yes, Andre Hazes. I hope you're ready to get emotional, mate. A lot of the songs are very touching and very deep. You may know the melodies, because what often happened is that there was a famous song sang in English, and then he would just obviously use like the sounds of it, but not the lyrics, and he would sing over it in Dutch, put his own twist to it. Now you would have to understand it to, I guess, get emotionally touched. But anyway, we digress. It's PVZ, it's Ancient Sister, and it's been a long day for us already. We've done 8 best of 3s. No, we've done 8 best of 3s. This is the 9th one of the day, and it's always fun to watch Scarlett do her thing. Safe to say that Scarlett is one of the big favorites for this entire region, right? Even with Latin America joining, Special is dangerous, Calazur is dangerous, but it would be silly to look past Scarlett. Without a doubt, one of the biggest names in this region.
Yeah, and I do want to talk about how Scarlett chose to open this game, because she did it very differently than most Zergs will. The one exception, of course, is Uko, who is kind of doing the same thing, but Uko works with Scarlett. He takes lessons from her. He's kind of her apprentice anyway, so that really shouldn't be too surprising. But she goes 15 gas cancels. So goes up to 14, cancels a gas, gets up to 15 drones, then takes her natural, then starts to go into things. So we've been seeing this a little bit, and what this means is on bigger maps, certainly the probe that runs across the map to try to A hash block and B scout doesn't accomplish that. And I'm not totally sure whether this is worthwhile from the perspective of kind of who loses more money by sending an early probe versus going for the gas cancel, but it is different. And it does mean that you are guaranteed to have your natural down pretty much. Well, yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed, and then, well, you move on from there.
Now, I gotta give you some kudos, Behemoth, because earlier, before we took our break, you were already talking about PattyMac doing the 3-gate opening against Scarlett, and then eventually followed it up in the past with double Stargate. We don't know if that's going to be the case, as we do see a Twilight Council go down right now, but this is already a bit unusual, right? Almost all the high-level Protoss players, they'll go 1 gate into a Twilight Council, into more gateways, and then a Robo. PattyMac goes a straight up 3-gate, then drops the Twilight, and now drops the Robo. So it has piqued my curiosity. I don't exactly know why he's doing it or what the goal is, but it is different.
Yeah, certainly. The interesting thing about this as well is glaives are on the way, I think, as we expected, is what I was talking about what PattyMac did last time. It was no glaives. You know, he would just not get glaives on his adepts. It was the 5-6 glaives that would run across the map. They were a transition. Right? You would get them, they would kill lings, they would force lings out, they would maybe get some drones, and it would just it was to keep the Zergar honest. So it's interesting to see now PattyMac maybe wholesale committing to it just a little bit more. Scarlett, no lings on the map right now. She's got 12, but 22 more on the way, and with the Bailing Nest completing, she's going to be able to hold on against these adepts. But now the question is whether PattyMac is playing against the idea, because again, no glaives last season. This time, glaives halfway done.
Yeah, I'm worried. Oh, that's a beautiful surround by Scarlett. 1 or 2 adepts should absolutely fall here. It's just one. The other ones took a lot of damage. I'm just worried that if Scarlett decides to be aggressive right now with Banelings on the other side of the map, PattyMac is really going to need to split his adepts up in the most glorious, beautiful Protoss manner. Otherwise, he'd be in trouble already. I don't see a shield battery here. This is a lot of links. Now, Resonating Glaives is still not quite done, but apparently Scarlett does not quite want to take this fight, even without Glaives being ready, because I guess he is investing casting implausible melee and having a high link count with this style is very important. But I'm not really feeling the start for PattyMac. Yes, he's gonna have glaives and a lot of adepts, but he already lost a couple of adepts, and now we're 5 minutes and 20 seconds into the game as well. It's just rather late to do some drone damage.
Yeah, now, Roddy, I do want to say, I said this before we got into this region, that the way PattyMac played, he was run across the map with 5 to 6 glaiveless adepts, run up the map, run up the ramp, get surrounded, go for a recall and lose exactly 1 adept.
Yes, actually,
and it's weird that is like an actual thing. Like, this is happening again. It's like it's the idea. I don't understand it.
Well, I don't think he is quite expect the Scarlett to have that many lanes, and on top of that, Scarlett being that quick with the surround. PattyMac is threatening, but you can't really let a shade like this finish up, because then the Lings and Banelings will just wipe the floor with your army. That is a quick Colossus, though. So we have a couple of adepts, by the way, in the third base mineral line. That is 5 drones, not bad at all by PattyMac. And if the adepts now on the left side can get a cancel on that hatchery, that'd be kind of big. I don't know how tanky that hatch is. Not tanky enough. We can't recall anymore, though. We've already recalled. Scarlett is now realizing that, too. Adepts will fall. The question is how many?
Well, it's certainly going to be a lot of them. Only 3 get out, but for 6 drones, for canceling a cancel on a 4th base, with the way PattyMac is going, by the way, Colossus, Extended Thermal Lance, Stalkers getting moved in. I mean, again, the adepts are a transition. Do I hate? I don't think I hate that, actually. I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's 13 total adepts going down, but I almost feel like that's worth it.
It would definitely be worth it if Scarlett didn't double expand, right? But there is another hatchery going up in the bottom side of the map. But at the moment, I'm with you. Like, this does not look like a bad game for PattyMac. If he didn't have a Colossus, then we'd be very concerned about the high number of Lings that are currently out. But Colossus can pretty much kill infinite Zerglings, especially near a shield battery. So far, so good for the American Protoss. Upgrades, maybe not ultra early, but obviously something that you can work on. And I guess we're just heading into some good old Colossus, Blink, Stalker, double Forge now, apparently, even. Do you think the idea is to get like an Archon, Warp Prism, and win on 3 bases, or do you see him go up to 4 bases?
I really like the timing that PattyMac has right now. He's going to have 2 Colossus, 3rd one by the time Extended Thermal Lance is done. He's going to have all these upgrades. He's going to have a really powerful army, and this 2 Colossus, or if this 3 Colossus all in is, it's got, you know, it's got history behind it. So I kind of like this idea. Yeah, you don't take that 4th base, run across the map with all your upgrades. But as I say that, he's at least giving us the idea that he does want to continue into this game. There's the +2 is on the way. He's chronoing that out. So, well, I would like to see him just kind of go for this 3 base all in. It doesn't really seem to be that what he's actually going for.
No, we do have that War Prism on the production tab now, but Scarlett was not intimidated about that old school move out of like, alright, big scary Protoss army, if I were you, I'd make a lot of units. Scarlett's like, well, yeah, but you're not me. I'm Scarlett. I like to make drones, since he's gone up to 88 workers and fired up a hive. The moment that a couple of Vipers are out and the Colossus get abducted, I mean, the rest of the army of Scarlett is gonna make her way through the army of PattyMac real quick. But it's still a fun game. Like, we are heading into familiar territory, but we took a very awkward route to get there.
And honestly, Roddy, you talk about, yes, Vipers being out, they're just going to abduct the Colossus, and that's that, but the Hive's not even done. And even if PattyMac wants to wait for +2 or just +1 armor, something like that, the Vipers will not be done. They will not have energy for the timing of this attack. So PattyMac, he's on creep a little bit. Ling's looking for a counterattack, and it seems like PattyMac actually, he wanted to give the idea that he was taking a 4th base, but he is absolutely not. So armor done in 10 seconds. Baneling speed will be done just before then. It seems Scarlett is almost destined to lose this base. I mean, this is a massive concave. One thing we're lacking, though, it's like only 1 sentry here, so no force fields to really make this a little bit easier. Stalkers, they blink backwards. Baneling's looking for the connections that they can find. Colossus get microed backwards here, and Scarlett kind of running into a wall, but she's going to be able to run right on through it. Colossus go down every which way. And Roddy, you're talking about Vipers? Who cares? You don't need them.
You need them. We have Zerglings in the natural as well on the other side of the map. Every single Colossus went down in his big attack. Scarlett was maxed out. She believed in her army, and she was right. There were very few force fields available, and there were no Archons. PattyMac made the investment in the Templar Archives. I just don't think that PattyMac expected Scarlett to be that eager to run into the army. So PattyMac probably thought, I'm not really going to push the creep back even further. I'm going to get a couple of free shots off. then I'll warp in the High Templars, then I'll get some Archons, and then we will battle, and it should be good for me. But Scarlett did not care. Yes, Hive, no Adrenal, no Vipers, just no problem. Scarlett knew that she had enough, she was maxed out, and that wasn't just a minor win, as we even killed the Observer now with Corrosive Ball. That's just adding insult to injury.
Yeah, this is game over now. PattyMac was going for a 3-base all-in. There we go. Victory. Scarlett takes game 1. And I liked the idea, but Roddy, if I'm going to change one thing of that fight, I mean, it was with 1-1 being done. You have all these Stalkers and Colossus. Take like 2 or 3 of those Stalkers, turn them into sentries. Give yourself that opportunity to carve the fight up a little bit. And yes, Biles will knock those down, but it's going to buy enough time for a couple more lasers to go out. And I do think if PattyMac has that, maybe he does have the opportunity to make things happen. But as it stands, yeah, Scarlett just runs right through the brick wall.
Yeah, no, Scarlett just saw an opportunity because he knew he was maxed out. And yeah, he could have waited, could have even sacrificed the base and tried to just buy some time with counterattacks. But yeah, if you can see an army that you can crush into, why not go for it? All these Banelings, we're going to get good connections. They connected with Stalkers and Colossus at the same time. It just really comes down to a few Archons, right? Like Archon, not necessarily my favorite unit. There are a lot of moments where I think Archons almost look silly, but these are not the moments. These are actually moments where Archons are fantastic when the Zerg is that heavy on Lings and Banes. That really would have made the life of PattyMac a whole lot easier. But kudos to Scarlett for just being that decisive, right? And that certain, because that looked like a big old scary Protoss army, but it wasn't intimidating to Scarlett.
Yeah, it does help, of course. The Scarlett had 50 Banes, something like that. Tons and tons of Banes, and that just kind of means you can run through a lot of things. But we are going to get a bigger map. For game number 2, it's going to be on Gresfon. I am really curious to see if we see PattyMac do this again, because again, we talk about that at depths and recall and whatever style. He wasn't just doing it to Scarlett. It was like every single PVC he played last season. He played Lambo actually in DreamHack Masters Atlanta, played the same thing. We saw him do that a lot, and it worked out fairly well. So does he have another build? Is this the only thing he plays? I mean, if there is a different way to play, Gresfon's your map for it.
Yeah, I definitely think there are ways to play similar, but still switch it up, right? And it always comes down to levels of commitment. How crazy are you willing to get with the adepts early on? I mean, Gresfon is big, but I don't know if it's bigger than Ancient. I feel Ancient Sisterin is very big too. Like maybe you can say from natural to natural, Gresfon is a tiny bit bigger, question mark, but I feel like they're both just big maps.
Big maps, big games, and big numbers of Lings, at least for our player in the upper left, in the red. It's Scarlett.
A big-time player.
Exactly. Big win.
Big accomplishments. Oh, cannon rush then? Well, if we don't cannon, why on earth would we build our first pioneer biomove in the bottom right side? We are looking at the main base of the man from Nashville, Tennessee. This is PattyMac. No forge yet, but Violent Gateway. I mean, I do this sometimes if I am like 5 hours deep in a ladder session. I'm like, yeah, it's PvT, right? It's like, oh my goodness, it was PvZ. Well, now I hate it. You gotta tell me that PattyMac just casually drops Violent Gateway in the main and then plays a normal game from here on out?
I trust NA, man. That's all I gotta say. Well, sorry, trust Americas now because NA is not its own region anymore. Gate cannon is the thing, you know? Gateway first, cannon rush, you get a quick robo, but the probe ran home, so there is no aggression coming out of PattyMac right now. I guess the thought is as the Overlord runs across and checks the natural wall, you find that there's not one, and that puts Scarlett into panic mode. But Roddy, the problem still remains that there's no wall. And then Speedlings run in, and what are you going to do?
And then you're going to see the Nexus, and you're really not all that concerned if you're Scarlett in the first place. Yeah, I'm really confused. Maybe PattyMac expected Scarlett to 12 pull, and this would make his life easier, but I don't feel that these top tier players really struggle with 12 pull defense, even if they go for Pylon on the low ground. So generally a little bit confused. Obviously, if Scarlett doesn't do anything aggressive, and it doesn't seem to be the case, maybe PattyMac will still be able to get a wall up. Maybe it's bait that by the time Scarlett sees it, and if he then wants to do something reactionary to this, PattyMac can actually defend it perfectly, and then he gets very far ahead. I don't know, man. This is way above my pay grade, BMO. I am not smart enough to understand this, but maybe it won't have too big of an impact on how this game is going to play out.
Yeah, I mean, speed's done in a minute, all right? Ish. Actually, yeah, speed's going to be done in just about a minute, which means that by the time that happens, PattyMac should be able to have his wall up. It really, I guess that shouldn't be that much of a punish. So we go a layer deeper, I guess. PattyMac, 2 more gateways on the way, so he's got very quick 3-gate here, and I was going to say is maybe that's what he's trying to hide, but there's no way that Scarlett does not know that there's a 3rd gateway on the map, because there's a stalker here. There's going to have to have been a cyber core. To get a cyber core, you need a gateway. You're not hiding that one. So PattyMac, he's just kind of getting into a similar spot with a very weird opening.
Yeah, now we've got a Twilight Council in the wall as well. That's cool. Does the Overlord see it from there? No, the Overlord actually just sees it. I mean, maybe, like I said, maybe the idea was to bait out the link flood, and that is actually something that PattyMac wanted to go up against. If the gas timings were normal, he knows that he's always going to be able to deal with it. There are obviously scenarios, guys, where this would be a straight-up nightmare. If Scarlett would have gone gas, pool, expand, then I do think link speed finishes up in time to prevent the wall off, and then defending your Protoss natural is a nightmare. In this scenario, it's really not that big of a deal, so I guess we made a fuss out of nothing, but it's still different and it's still weird.
It's one of those things where I would love, and again, we're not going to be able to talk to PattyMac after this, I don't think, but I would love to know what his thought process is going in. Like, what was he attempting to accomplish by opening with this? And I think realistically, even if we got to ask him, I think he would not tell us, because and then if it doesn't work out, then you know, it's a strat you can use again. So I still would love to know, though, because again, it's just enough. It's just different enough that it does have us a little bit confused. But now Adept's nice wall off there from Scarlett, and that means one Adept gets low, does not fall.
I mean, we speculated enough about it, I think, over the last few minutes. I'm sure one of our speculations was accurate, whether it's the bait link flood or the easier 12 full defense or Lord knows what. We have a couple of Adepts shading into the 3rd base of Scarlett. Recall, -1 Adept, BO, there you go.
I don't understand why it's a thing, but it is such a hallmark of PattyMac's play that you just, regardless what he's going to do, first recall, you lose 1 Adept. These Lings on the other side, though, they're not going to get anything. And this is the true PattyMac build. Slave's on the way, just about done. You get the recall, 1 Adept, double Stargate behind.
Yep. I mean, I love it. I also love playing Adept into double Stargate myself, but obviously there are different ways to get there. Pure Ling Bane could really become an issue, because you often make decent amount of Adepts, and you're like, oh, okay, I can deal with some Zerglings, I can deal with some Banelings, but if Scarlett just goes pedal to the metal with this, it's honestly dangerous. PattyMac cannot forget that he already used a recall, and, well, he's just very confident. He's going deep on creep, could get surrounded, could lose Adepts to Banelings, gets 2 Queen kills, gets Queen number 3 as well. Okay, this has been an amazing Adept move out, but now it is so important for PattyMac that he saves the Adepts. Otherwise, he could be in so much trouble against Ling Bane, because Phoenixes absolutely suck against Ling Bane.
They do, but man, there is no anti-air on the map right now. Oh, there's going to be big surround. Bailey's looking for the connections that they're going to find, so all the Adepts are dead. 5 drones, though, they've hit the deck as a couple more Adepts find their way in. It seems like the last one, no, it will fall. And now, yeah, I'm absolutely worried about this Ling Bane counterattack that Scarlett may look to go for. But Roddy, on the flip side, there are 3 queens. One of them, okay, actually the wounded one got transfused.
But it's not about the Zerg defending. It really is about the Protoss defending. Like, this was so amazing for PattyMac if he would have just gone home after he killed all these queens. If Scarlett really goes for it here, PattyMac's going to take so much damage. Even with the Dark Strand on the way that I love, but here are the Banelings. Ling Bane is a problem. Shield Battery Overcharge will not save you. PattyMac got too greedy. This was actually such an amazing start. All he had to do was go home, be happy with what you got. These poor Phoenixes, they'll do nothing. Soon PattyMac can warp in DTs, and you may think like, oh, Phoenix DT, like Corsair DT, that's awesome. Yeah, but of 2 bases, it's just not awesome. And unfortunately, PattyMac has dropped the 2 bases. He got too greedy, BO. He got too carried away. After the 3 queen kills, he should have gone home with the Adepts.
Yeah, very much so. Delved too greedily and too deep. But hey, Lings, yeah, they're going to find their way into the natural. Defensive DTs you talked about being nice. They're not nice enough. This is the entire economy. The natural, the 3rd base will fall. PattyMac does not have his upset. Not 2 seasons in a row, and Scarlett takes her first series win.